Welcome back to the Junk Room, everybody. You know me, I'm the Junkman. We're here to talk Star Wars with you. Oh, what's new? Oh, before I get into it, let's get into the plug-in stuff. The 1978 podcast. That's right, the very first Star Wars podcast is now online. What? But there's millions of podcasts out there. But there's only one first Star Wars podcast. This podcast takes place in 1978, April 1978. And we're going to give you news on Star Wars 2, rumors, who's going to direct it. We're going to talk about the new toys hitting the store. And we're even going to mix in 1978 ads. I mean, there's an ad for Zares during this. I think you'll love it. I'm very proud of this podcast. Now, if you were a subscriber to our Kenner podcast, I had to do some changing because I made it into the Star Wars Junk Network podcast. And I didn't know I was going to lose all of my subscribers and all of my reviews. So if you subscribe to the Kenner podcast, please go back, find it, subscribe to the Star Wars Junk Network, and there you'll get the 1978 podcast and all the old podcasts for the Kenner Chronicles, which I'm going to still do the Kenner Chronicles. The Star Wars 1978 podcast is going to be once a month, the first every month, where we talk about what's going on. You can find links to the iTunes right now. Google Play rejected it. I still don't know why. So you can find it. You can find the podcast, the first episode here on YouTube, iTunes, Podbean, or you can even listen to it on StarWarsJunk.net. You can find all the links to Star Wars Junk.net. All the links to StarWarsJunk.net also. And I'll put the links at the bottom of this video. And as always, please support us. Go to Patreon. I don't have a lot of exclusives right there, but believe me, a lot more exclusives are coming very soon. We're actually going to have some toy deals probably coming up very soon. If you want some of our cool shirts, StarWarsJunk.net has all the links. Let's get that out of the way because we got a very special show for you today. We've got inside news. Now, I'm not normally the kind of guy that does breaking news. I might talk about a news story once it's out, but I'm not one to make videos on rumors or inside news, leaks, and all that. But I talked to this guy and I verified his credentials. And I thought it was very important to bring him on. Now, I can't give his name. He doesn't want me to show his name or his face. But he's an actor in Hollywood that has a major part in the upcoming Han Solo film. And we all know about all the troubles been going on there with the firing of the directors. Rumors that the main actor, Alden Ehrenreich, can't act, which I find is totally BS from everything I've seen him do. But you have all heard all that. And I said, well, I think this is the guy that talked to maybe some other news outlet last week, and I tried hard to track him down. So I'm just going to call him Actor X or Mr. X. Again, I'm not going to give out his name or his identity. He didn't want me to. There's some legal issue for us doing that, and he probably won't never work in Hollywood again if we do that. So enough of the tease. Let's get on with it. Please welcome my very special guest, the man from the inside of the Hollywood set, Mr. X. Or should I call you Agent X?
You can call me Actor X. Malcolm X. I don't care what you call me.
Okay, let's just get right to it, okay? I don't know why I'm looking over there, because I know I'm just going to put you there later. Actually, I see you on my monitor. But let's like I said, let's get right to it. Who are you in this Star Wars film? Who do you play?
I started working for him back in 2006, early 2006. I can't really say who I am, but I'm a really close friend of this guy. I'm a really close friend of Chewbacca's.
A very close friend of Chewbacca. How close?
I'm not as close as your mama with him, but I'm pretty close.
Okay, let's stay nice now. Do you know Lord and Miller?
Hell yeah, I know. Well, I know the curly head one more. I can't never remember which one's Lord, which one's Miller. I just know that curly head and the other one. That curly head one still owes me $7.50. Man, they would always invite us out for lunch during the filming of the movie. And that curly head guy would always forget his wallet. Oh, he just happened to go to the bathroom right about time the bill came.
How was it working with them?
I don't know if you can really say it was working with them. All they would do was turn on the monitor and show us clips from 21 Jump Street and say, "Do that, but in space. Action."
Was the other crew or actors on the set upset of how Lord Miller directed this film?
Was the crew upset? Well, honestly, most of them didn't even know these two guys was the director. For a long time, we just thought they were key grips.
Okay, let's see. That's kind of different right there.
But Billy D, Daniel Glover, he always made us call him Billy D. We all try to tell him that he's playing Lando, but he swears up and down that he's starring in a Billy D. Williams biopic.
Were you there when Lord and Miller got let go, got fired by Kathleen Kennedy?
Oh, I was right there when they got fired. We were all there. Kathleen Kennedy, the Kasdan brothers, Aaron Ackihaki-like, Billy D. Daniel Glover. Hell, they even flew George Lucas in to see it.
Well, I hope they were at least fired tastefully.
I don't know, Junkman. I guess it all depends on your definition of tasteless. We were all eating at this long bar at a sushi. We were all at this sushi bar in West Hollywood, sitting at this big long table. Then all of a sudden, Kathleen Kennedy started tapping on her glass, stood up on the table, started breaking dishes and shit. And then she just told them, "Hey, y'all two, y'all fired. Get the hey, I don't talk like that." But she said a very bad word and said, "Get out."
That's nuts, man. That's crazy. I would have never guessed that.
And then Lawrence Kasdan out of nowhere pulled out a VHS copy of 21 Jump Street and started smashing it with a hammer. But it wasn't a movie, it was a TV show. I don't think Lawrence Kasdan knew there was a movie based on the TV show.
Right after they were fired, was Ron Howard brought right on after that?
No, man. They had a whole bunch of different directors. For like 2 weeks, somebody new was coming in. First Wild Mirror was this guy named Tony Linsdau. I forget the brother's name, but he always wanted a CGI emoji head over everybody. It was wacky. And let me see, there was that other guy, that Transformer guy, that Michael Bay. He came in there too. But in day one, he done blown up 3 Millennium Falcons. Kathleen Kennedy wasn't having that. And then they brought in that M. Night Shyamalan man, whatever. But he wanted to change the ending and reveal that Luke Skywalker had been dead throughout all the Star Wars movies. And the daddy Kasdan, he kept pushing for this guy named Billy Wilder. But we all kept trying to tell him that Billy Wilder died like 15 years ago.
So why did they pick Ron Howard?
Well, it's simple. He promised Daddy Kasdan that he would tell him all kinds of backstories about Andy Griffith.
Hey, I kind of agree with that. It's been rumored for about a year that this Alan Alderwright that plays Han Solo can't act, or needs an acting coach. Can you speak on that?
Well, I don't know. I can't say he's good or not. It usually takes him a few times to get his lines right. And for some reason, he always wanted to add the word kid at the end of every sentence. Or what was the other word he always wanted to add? He always wanted to say cocky. He was telling everybody, get cocky, don't get cocky, don't get cocky, buy cocky, sell cocky. It was weird.
Well, other than the actors and the production, how's this movie, story-wise?
I really like the script. But I think some fans of Star Wars might not like some of the different directions they go. There's a 25-minute dance number right in the middle of the movie. And we learned that Han's big dream in life is to be a tap dancer like his mom.
Now I know you mentioned earlier, before we turned on the camera, that you had a lot of contact with Kathleen Kennedy. We've heard a lot of rumors about how she runs things. How was it for you personally working for Kathleen?
Kathleen Kennedy, oh man, she's amazing. I don't care what anybody out there says. I know there's a rumor that she threatened to kill Steven Spielberg's dog if he didn't make the Crystal Skull. I don't know if I believe all that. But the Kennedy I saw, she was nice. She was a sweet, nice woman. Unless you made direct eye contact with her. That was the only rule. None of us could make eye contact with her. If you did make eye contact with her, you were fired on the spot, thrown out, and your union card burned. And believe me, you were never going to work in Hollywood again.
What about Lawrence Kasdan and his son? They both wrote this film. How was it working with the Kasdans?
Well, Daddy Kasdan was okay, but his little son, he would always snatch the script out of her hand and take his crayon and mark out words and try to write his own stuff. Just tell him it's great and pat him on the head. Most of the time he's going to be under the table eating paint anyway. Well,
now it seems the movie's done, edited and everything. Have you seen it? And if so, what do you think about the final product?
I really do dig it. There's some odd choices, like I said,
right,
that fans might not be ready for, but overall, I think it's a really swell, keen movie.
Are you yourself planning to be in any more Star Wars films?
I really do. I would really love to do some more of the Star Wars. But Kathleen Kennedy said she hopes everybody involved with the Solo movie dies a slow death within a year. I hope she was just talking about the main cast.
Well, good luck with that. Well, I want to thank you for talking with us here. I know you didn't have much time, but I think you covered all the basics. Anything you would like the fans to know about this movie?
Yeah, go see Solo. Don't worry about that dance number, and don't worry that they turned Lando into a transgender homosexual ship designer. I mean, times change, dog.
I guess you're right, times change. You got to learn the Star Wars movie today is a lot different than the Star Wars movies of the 80s. That's probably true.
Yo, right.
I want to thank you, Actor X, Agent X, whatever we want to call
Man,
you.
this is bullshit, man. I told y'all, man.
fact,
Told me I was going to lay down some tracks on him.
Push you on out of here.
Man, fuck this.
Talk to you
Marquis
guys.
out of here.
Well, what do you think about that? Does it sound like Solo is the disaster that we heard? Are you excited about Solo? I personally can't wait for this movie. I think it's going to be one of the best Star Wars. I think it's at least going to be better than Rogue One. Could be wrong. What do you think? I'm really excited about Solo. So in the comments below, let me know what you think. And I hope one day we can find out who this mysterious actor is. And as my son would say, smash that like button. And something about hitting a bell. I never used the bell on YouTube, but apparently from what I hear, YouTube's having this thing about not letting people know that new videos are up. So if you know the bell, click the bell.
Yo, sound the bell. School is in, sucker.
And if you're not, please subscribe. And I want to thank you all again for watching. I think I might have already said that. I'm not really sure. So go to StarWarsJunk.net. And you never know what you're going to find there. It's not just Star Wars. There's a lot of junk there too.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.